Rock Valley College, and now he's working on something called the Literary Roadshow, which I'm sure he'll tell us all about.
I will. Thank you, everyone. One thing we learned from Sherry was that you have to promote yourself and do things, and everything she's done is right on the mark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to promote the roadshow and take a picture of it. I'll put it up on Twitter. Raise your hand if you've ever used Twitter. You got to use Twitter. So, on my Twitter account, I have a lot of people who are writers across the world, including a lot of people in New York publishing. So that's one way for us to outreach to those people if we're going to do that. So it seems like a lot of people do Facebook, which is cool too. But Twitter actually, they say Twitter is Facebook is for people you know. Twitter is for people you want to know. So everybody smile. But you can follow the Roadshow at the @ @lit Roadshow, LITROADSHOW. And I'm also on Doug Shiloh, @Doug Shiloh on Twitter. And I welcome you to join. But thanks for having me here. And as Richard said, I kind of do a lot. And what I learned early on as a writer is that you're going to do a lot of different things in your life. One, because if you have a passion to write, you're going to be different than other people. Second, it really helps you with your writing because you're going to, me, I'm a custodian. I've worked retail, I've been a manager, I've done all sorts of things. So my ex-wife thought I was sort of aimless. It was a matter that I kind of crave life experiences. Well, we all do, right? So with that, you can make it into this potpourri of whatever your writing is and put it out there in words. I really like InPrint because you guys are committed. I mean, you have a large group here, you pull from where we're at, so I give you guys applause. Right? The Literary Roadshow, what is it? Well, my background when I was in high school was an English teacher played recordings of famous authors, T.S. Eliot and Ernest Hemingway. So to be able to hear those people's voices, not just read the word, you just give an extra dimension. Okay. And when I went to the InPrint Writers Conference, there I was with 200 writers from across the country. And some were really big names. One was Mark Strand, who was at that time was the future U.S. poet laureate. And a lot of other people that were the New York Times bestseller or the Book of the Month Club. So to get up there where we had 200 people in this room, and they were doing their best writing. I was 22 years old. I was like, wow, you didn't have this in Rockford. So what I wanted to do is to kind of present that to our community. When I went to live in Chicago for a few years, I read at the Green Mill, which is where the poetry slam is invented. So I came back from Chicago and back in Rockford, and that's why I started the Literary Roadshow eventually. So what we do is we meet once a month, and we'll be in here today. And then next week we're going to be down in Mendelssohn, PAC. That's at 7 o'clock. It's a Wednesday night on October 7th. I welcome anybody to come. But what's the roadshow do for you? Well, you're a writer, and that should be enough, right? As Sherry pointed out, we've got to do more as writers. It seems like a big burden. We've got to what, write? We've got to write our best. And now you're going to tell me if you perform your writing, I've got enough on my plate. I've got a job, I've got a family, I want to watch TV, and I've got to write. But I really suggest that you think about reading aloud your work to help for a couple of reasons. The first thing is, if we're writers and we need to get in this new digital age, as far as we need to be able to connect with people. And if you're doing signings, you've got to really work on polishing sort of craft and really go high. So today I challenge everybody to read their best 1,000 words, and that's what you can do when you go out to a signing. Don't start with necessary chapter. Don't go to the end necessarily. Just Although I did pick something from the end of my book, but I did that because you guys would get it as well, right? But I'm also going to be starting a class up. I'll have a sign up afterward. And what we do is we will be more like a community college sort of level thing where we're going to practice our craft of reading aloud. Okay? We'll videotape it, we'll do audio tapes at the end, and we'll get instruction from, okay, that doesn't sound quite right, or, you know, your body language is now like this and stuff, and we'll help you sort of get that managed. So when you do go for your assignment, that you're going to bring your best. Well, I wanted to go ahead and start first because that's only fair. When I used to do readings, I used to get really nervous. And a friend of mine who's a DJ introduced bands down to the Metro Center and told me one big quick rule for when you speak publicly. I know a lot of you have already done that professionally, but use the bathroom first. It helps for class. Because you want to know, there's already enough adrenaline going on. You don't need to have anything else. But what I'll do here is 8 minutes, and then we'll move on to our next reader. Where's the reading list?
Right.
Is everybody signed? Or is it still passing around?
Is everyone got it? I think we're good.
All right.
Do we go up there?
And do we have to mark that people who want to be recorded will be recorded type thing?
No, present today.
Yeah. So.
If you won't know much the recording, you can just tell us if it's a problem.
That's fine, yeah. Start it off. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So, okay, we'll begin the roadshow. Thanks for coming out. This is from my novel, Cuckoo, and right now I'm working on the second and third, and we're going to see, you know how it is. But I thought this might be kind of apropos to what we do. This is from chapter 51, Hellbound Train. Now, the narrator has gone through this whole drama of things. He lives in Chicago, and he's got to kind of reassess where he's at, not just with what's happening in the story that's told. Okay, so here we go, Hellbound Train. And by the way, I'm using my note. I don't know if Sherry's here, but she appreciates using my notes. Part of the whole. Hellbound Train. Since moving in with Catlin, I'd kept a big 3x5 floppy disk of the book along with the daisy wheel printout in my backpack. I now also had the Book of Catlin. So I'm doing this on purpose. It's a little malfunction thing. I also had the Book of Catlin. I walked to the Loyola Health Stop. I didn't know where I was going, but it didn't matter. I waited for the train up on the concrete platform that crossed over Sheridan Road. I needed to complete unfinished. I opened up the backpack and looked at the manuscripts. I had started it so long ago. For years I puttered with it with no real interest. Did I really believe in it? Did I just like the idea that I had a book? So what? Was I willing to work for what could not be handed to me, but only earned by sweat, love, and time? Big deal. The title page of the book had changed from untitled to unfinished. What I really had accomplished in all those wasted years was to parody myself. I had strayed from who I was, and what I wanted to be, and what I felt I could do. You can take years to write a book, but I don't advise it. You have to write with passion. You have to strike while the iron is hot. You can't hem and haw. You must have real conviction. You enter a room and fight for your life. Everything else in my life was gone. It was time to find out what I could do. I needed to quit being afraid. It was okay to make a mistake. It was okay to let go. It was okay to go on. I stepped on the floppy and threw it and the book into the trash and left it there. I breathed in. I breathed out. Then it died. I wiped off the payphone receiver on my knee and dialed Julie's number and got her machine. Good news, I finished my book. Of course, there was no reply. Julie, you didn't say goodbye. The train pulled into the station. I touched my swollen lip. It wasn't bleeding. I wanted to tell Julie that I was driving by. I wanted to say more, but the words didn't make it out. And it stopped. I remembered a poem that was in the second to the last page of the Book of Cat. She was a fool to believe I can be healed. You can't fix what is broken. The manual has been missing all these years. The parts left behind. Page 75, the Book of Cat. What good would telling her any of that do? Did she already know about Wendy or any of the countless elders? I just wanted to tell you. Could I tell her? Would it matter? Sometimes our illusions are better than our reality. Who was I to say what was in my heart? Like that would ever do any good. Or maybe in a different time and place. Maybe if we met before. Things could have been different. Maybe we did in some parallel universe, and that's why we could only connect. There was so much in this world. Julie, I thought that. He didn't know how, but he did love me. I used both hands to put the phone back on the hook. I got on the train. Up in the first seat was a young couple. The woman laughed, pressed closer, and kissed him. The man rested his hand on the back of the seat. Both wore wedding rings. They might even be married to each other, I thought. It was time. The ring stuck at the knuckle. I wet it with my tongue and pulled the band off with a slight tug. Everyone on the train was watching. This moment shook the universe. All week long I felt like a fake. There, it was dark. To have it off felt good, and it felt horrible. Statistics showed that single and divorced people didn't live as long and had worse general health. Somebody on the train said, my body instantly weakened. Cancer. Anna Krista used to say she was going to superglue the 14-karat ring to my hand. Super. Why? There was never any need. I loved her. As for the ring itself, I liked the weight, the presence, the look, and the symbol of the unbroken circle. I even wore my ribbon shop. I used to take it as a bad sign whenever Anna Krista didn't wear hers. I was just being weird, she said. It didn't matter if she didn't wear her ring. She loved me. I knew that. I knew she loved me even when she stayed out late at night and was gone for a few days. I knew she was sick. I was just paranoid. And the chef was just giving her cooking lessons. But pulling into Wilson, I read a painted no-fault divorce and bankruptcy advertisement. $60 in costs. I jotted down a number. The brick sign looked so old it looked like it had been commissioned to Mavis. Maybe Counselor Wojanowski still practiced his cheap brand of salvation and simply cut his overhead by not sprucing up the sign. The ad promised a simple, clean, and painless surgery, just like the CTA overheads for everything from domestic violence shelters to podiatrists to walk-in dental clinics. A pair of crooked and yellow before teeth snarled at captive riders. The after photo showed a good smile, good enough to get you magazine reviews along. The before photo in the car repair shop ad showed a near-total Vega, while the after photo had showroom new Porsche. $99 for a paint job. Hey, you can be fixed. But they didn't cost. Thank you very much. By the way, what really helped me too is when you record your voice, and that's what we'll do with the roadshow class, is that you hear yourself read. And I remember years ago that I would do that. That sounds like me. And I hear that from people all the time. But what I've been able to do now is train myself. So What I hear in recording is what I hear